In the past decade, there's been a massive proliferation of the use of semiconductors in a broad range of devices. And in the next decade, what we're going to see is the information that these devices create, these semiconductors, these processors, is going to be able to be networked and connected to the rest of the world. And that concept is summarized by the phrase, the Internet of Things. And this is the idea where your car, your watch, your refrigerator, your insulin pump, the various medical devices, the various devices involved in a chemicals refinery or an oil refinery, all of these things are going to have chips in them, and they're all going to be networked, and they're all going to produce lots and lots of information. So that brings about so much information, and there are so many of these processors that in fact it exceeds the number of people on the planet. So if you think that the number of people on the planet can't effectively manage these things because there's so many of them, then we're going to need software and systems that sort of autonomically manage these systems and automatically bring the data into a place where people can use applications to analyze the information and get value out of them. The value of this information to the user of these devices and the people that they collaborate with, and in fact also the provider and the manufacturer of these devices, is so valuable that it's inevitable that this has to happen. The problem is there's more devices than people, and the real challenge to overcome is this thing, machine-to-machine intelligence, where no matter where the machine is moved, or where it's used, or how it's used, the information that it generates can find its way to the place it needs to be. For example, an insulin pump, I may be using one if I'm a diabetic, and then I go to a new type of system, and that pump then gets deployed to somebody else. Well, we have different data, different doctors, different collaborators. We're working with a different insurance service perhaps, and all those people need access to that information, but it needs to be configured and set up, and it might need to go from one network to another network, like Verizon to AT&T, for example. There aren't enough people on the planet to make all that happen, so it needs to happen automatically. And this is where you're going to hear the phrase machine-to-machine intelligence occur, not only to register the devices and configure them and set them up with who's using them, but also to migrate them from one network to another, to take the data from one database system to another, or one application to another, and allow all of that to sort of be orchestrated automatically without having to involve too many people. That's extremely complicated, but the base level infrastructure and systems are actually very quickly moving into place to enable those types of things to occur. And one of the really strategic missing components is the software that can orchestrate and bring all these systems to work together and the users to work on those systems together in the right way. So the value of all the information that's being created is unlocked and delivered to the users, the collaborators, and the vendors and providers of this equipment and these services. So you're going to hear a lot more about the Internet of Things and machine-to-machine intelligence. It's a massive market, and it's an inevitable market because the value is so great, we're going to have to invest in it.